Alright, so now I have my profile of my car, but I need to throw some actual dimensions on it and maybe some constraints. I probably won't be able to fully constrain this without putting in a ridiculous amount of work, so I'm going to focus mostly on the bottom because the bottom is going to connect to the base of the car, where we'll put the motor and whatnot. So, first of all, I'm going to put a dimension, an overall dimension of about 8 inches. So I'm going to resize this whole thing. Notice it scales it up proportionally. So don't put any dimensions on until you finish sketching. And then just put on your largest dimension and you should be good to go. Now I need to add a slot in the middle. So I'm going to turn on my line tool and I'm going to sketch, zoom in, make sure we're vertical. This and trim. I'm going to trim away this part. And what this is like a notch where another piece of wood is going to become inserted, the horizontal part of the base. So now let's just kind of eyeball this a little bit. And let's say this piece right here is about, that says 0.6. So I'm going to go with, let's see what 1 would look like. That looks fine. Let's go with 1 inch on this side. And let's see, what does that leave us in the middle? 1.67. 1.65, 6.4, whatever. That's just kind of a random number, but we want to make sure that it ends up being the same as the other piece, which I think I've already designed. Let's open that piece up. The base. There it is. So that little piece right here is gonna pop through. And I've actually already designed this piece. So let's actually pull off these dimensions. Edit sketch. Oh, I made it 2. And this dimension back here was kind of a random number, 0.827. So it doesn't really matter what these are, as long as your pieces fit together. So I'm going to just go ahead and use these numbers I've got right here. So 0.827 and then 2. So let's modify this. 0.827. Oh, notice that changed the geometry of my car. Control Z. So I don't want to do that. So let's delete this first. Let's delete this. And let's delete this. So we want to hold constant the distance from one piece to the other where the tires are. So that's going to be the dimension from here to here. Okay, I'm going to have a tire right here and a tire right here. And the distance between, I'm sorry, tire is going to be this big opening and then back here. So the distance between those two tires is 3.647. Oh, I already have that dimension on there. 3.647. So I'm going to throw that dimension on here. From here to here it needs to also be 3.647. Great. Now I can modify these lines. You know, I can modify these lines. Whoops. And it doesn't change the 3.647. So this one was 0.827. This one right here was 2 inches. And this one right here is whatever left over, 0.82. Great, finish sketch. I'm just going to show you how these parts fit together. So we'll extrude it 0.135, which is the actual thickness, 135 thousandths. And let's go ahead and color this piece red. Right click on extrusion, properties, and then the appearance. We'll type in R, and there's red right there. And then the base is yellow. So let's open up the assembly. File, new assembly. Oh, well, let's just start a new assembly. Let's place the base in, open, and I'm going to kind of look at it from a 3D perspective. I'm going to right click, place grounded at origin, and then I'm going to place the wall. I'll place 2 of them in, hit escape, and now I just need to insert them. So let's look from the front view. Let's line it up as best we can. Let's look from the right view. Let's zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just making the 2 faces flush. Now when we look, it should fit together. So let's go ahead and flush those two sides. So constrain, flush this surface and this surface should be flushed. Apply. Now I didn't leave much of a gap here to connect the two. Let's go to the bottom. And let's flush the bottom facing pieces of both. Apply. Now it still has 1 degree of freedom front to back. I'm going to slide the red piece a little bit to expose this surface right here. And I'll hit constrain. Let's do a mate of this piece to rotate to this guy. Apply. All right, now it's mated. Good. There's a little gap there, which means my dimensions must be off a tiny bit. Let's investigate what's going on there. Let's go back to the Prius and let's open up the sketch, right click, edit sketch. Yeah, I'm missing a dimension. So the dimension of this line right here should be 0.135. Finish sketch, go back to the assembly, and now that gap is gone. So now let's go ahead and connect the other side. Let's go ahead and flush the two faces that are facing out. Apply. Let's flush the two bottom facing surfaces. Apply. And let's mate this little cube with this little cube. I should say square face. Apply. And there we go. So there's the beginning of our assembly. I'll go ahead and rotate a little bit. We've got these parts that will fit together like so. And then I'll have the motor in the middle and whatnot. Notice I've got some interference here. So I need to carve out some of that red piece. So let's go ahead and look at some dimensions there. On the base, what did I have? I think I have a 1/4 inch. Let's sketch, edit sketch. It sticks out a 1/4 inch. So I need to remove a 1/4 inch from the Prius, the sidewall. Edit sketch, come in here, and I'm going to draw an imaginary line that's an extension of this line right here. Oh, it looks like they do hit. What I'm checking to see is if they really were touching. And they do. I basically need to remove a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to draw a line in an arbitrary place. I can make it flush, match the bottom height of this. Let me show you what I'm doing. So first of all, I want to remove a 1/4 inch. So the distance of this cut is going to be 0.25. Okay. The height of the cut is the same as the thickness of the wood, 0.135. All right, so that's the location of the cut. So I'll actually turn this into a regular line, right click, not a construction line, and then I will draw it over. And then, whoops, right click, escape, right click, construction. Okay, escape, escape, escape. Escape is your best friend. And then I'm going to trim away these parts. And that got real goofy, Control Z. So when it trimmed right there, it got rid of, oh, it's because I lost that dimension. So I need the bottom of this, I need this corner right here to be constrained to this corner down here. So let's go back to our constraints, horizontal constraint. This point needs to be constrained to, oh, there's no point there. Tell you what, let's constrain horizontally this point to this point. Move my car down. I don't want to move my car down. I want to move my line up. So maybe I can just move this line up and use this tool to bring them together. Didn't let me do the, I needed to do the dimension first. Sometimes you have to remove the dimension to remove the line. I lost a line. Let's put it back. Let's try that again. We'll just turn that into a solid line. There we go. Okay. What did I just do? I just removed a little tiny corner of my car so that I wouldn't have interference right there. And that looks pretty good. We'll find out when we laser cut these if that actually fits together or not. Now, notice there's a little gap right there. We're not looking for perfection, but we want to try as much as possible. So if I'm missing a dimension, I should go back here, check my sketch, see that I got the 0.135 dimension. And as long as this point and this point are horizontally aligned, everything should fit together. Let's align those again. Let's horizontally align this point with this point. Let's see what happens. Finish sketch, assembly, no gap. Well, still looks like there's a tiny gap. So let's just laser cut them and see what happens. But hopefully these pieces will fit together nicely. We'll find out in a minute when we laser cut.